If you've been following the news as to how they plan to get President Trump, I'm sure you've come across the term lawfare, versus warfare. Lawfare is this term, this concept that references the use of lawsuits and legal actions and the process of such as a means of targeting and achieving specific political or military objectives or ends. So what it does is it involves leveraging legal systems, international law, and judicial mechanisms and processes and the like to achieve strategic goals beyond that which is deemed traditional or usual or the like. And it can manifest lawfare in a million different ways, including filing lawsuits, lodging complaints, utilizing, exploiting, and leveraging legal ambiguities, but also the one now is libel. Libel. Look what they did to Rudy Giuliani. Libel. Libel used to be considered, libel. How were you actually damaged? Don't worry. Also, there was this notion of the idea of the public official. New York Times against Sullivan. Remember that one? New York Times versus Sullivan. What year was that? 64, I believe. New York Times against Sullivan. It was the whole notion of the public figure. And it was the idea of it took the idea of you claiming if you dared to bring a lawsuit against somebody who was normal, but you yourself was a public figure. You had to be able to show that it was done against you with malice. You had to show this public official that you had to prove. I mean, if you were somebody like E. Jean Carroll, you had to show that Donald Trump was libeling you with a reckless disregard for the truth. What he said basically was that I didn't do this. You're crazy. I mean, it wasn't like he picked her out of, nowhere and then said, I'm going to pick on this lady. He was responding as a very angry defendant in a case he claims, I know this sounds crazy, I didn't do it. But here's the other part about this. Donald Trump, and they know, he can't keep his mouth shut. So he made it worse. The first case was $5 million. The second one's like 83 million. This jury hated him. And I don't want to speak ill of fellow lawyers. I wasn't there. I don't know how difficult it is to have him as a client. But I'll be damned if after a case, I, like Alina Habba, I'm not going to be going out and basically trashing the judge and trashing everybody, especially when I have pending motions, perhaps maybe to reconsider, lowering the case, additor, remittitor. Isn't that a great word? Remittitor. Isn't that such a, this notion of going and saying that you, and by the way, he has some pretty doggone, some pretty serious stuff. Some very good claims, especially over the fact that they basically foreclosed his ability to even relitigate the case and say, I didn't do it. By the way, remittitor is a trial court order in response to an excessive damage award or a verdict, which gives the plaintiff the option to accept a reduced damage award or conviction, or the court may order a new trial. Anyway, it means to send back, to remit. So that's one of the things that, you would like to have maybe in your favor. But if you're Alina Habba or you're Trump and you're basically telling everybody that the judge is a slimeball and he's corrupt, not a good idea. That jury hated Trump getting up and storming off, not even listening, acting like I don't have to. A 3-minute testimony? Did I miss it? What was the cross-examination like? I don't know if Trump figures, screw it. I don't care, which is ridiculous. Or is he getting bad advice? Or has he lost his mind? Or in some weird Trumpian world, this somehow benefits him? I don't know how. Does the pylon get to be so excessive? And by the way, another thing too is why the E. Jean Carroll case is so critical is as follows. E. Jean Carroll deals with a case of sexual assault. And that is something that you've got to be exceedingly careful, exceedingly worried about, especially when it comes to women voters and people who might find that your particular behavior, your particular action, your particular treatment might be considered boorish. There's a lot of stuff going on. Harvey Weinstein, Epstein, the new Vince McMahon stuff, women victimized by huge and powerful men. And, you can laugh all you want. A lot of folks who are Trump fans and friends of mine say, oh, she's crazy. Come on. And my favorite is during one of the depositions, whatever he said, she's not my type. Basically, when asked, the subject is sexual assault, she's not my type, so I wouldn't sexually assault her. Well, whom would you sexually assault? Do you hear the way it's so sloppily phrased? Sloppily concocted? Sloppily referenced? This is really serious stuff here. And what's even more frightening, and what's even more scary, I mean really scary, is the fact that he's not even done yet. If he does it again, if he actually keeps it up, they're going to file more lawsuits against him. Can you see that happening? I can. I can see him the rest of time. He also has this, he's pending right now. He is pending. There is this case that Alvin Bragg filed, another version of Lawfare, where we have this weird kind of strange bit of perhaps accountancy, where he might have listed improperly the payment or hush money to Dusty Saddles or whatever her name is, the porn star and chanteuse wannabe. Remember that one? Remember how that story goes? Look, let me explain something to you. And let me see if I can put this into perspective, and let me see if I can try to tell you. I don't care whether you like Trump or not. I'm giving you a lawyer's evaluation of what I'm saying. This is called Lawfare, and it has been absolutely effective so far. He's got, 94 counts of how many cases? I mean, who knows? The best thing that ever happened to him, thank God for Trump, is this Fani Willis. Thank God, because that one was scary, but thank God for him, he's got a prosecutor stupid enough to hire her Gumara, or whatever the male version of this is. Basically send him money, somebody who ostensibly and by all practical accounts seems to be underqualified to handle a case of this magnitude, but irrespective, to basically bring him in, pay him more than is due, load up the billable hours. In one particular case, I think they said he was working, 24 hours a day? Now that's dedication. And then the money going to her and him as they tool about the world on cruises and the like. So only Trump has that luck of having somebody as stupid as Fani Willis. So my friends, this is Lawfare. If you have any connection with the president, please pick up the phone, call him, and tell him, please, sir, with all due respect, shut up. No more Truth Social. No more nothing. Let it go. This could have been avoided. You should have ignored her. That's the worst thing you could do today in this era of social media, to ignore someone. So what do you think, my friends? Let me know. Let me know. Let me know. Let me know what you think. Be aware of what's happening. Focus on what's happening. And opine. Weigh in. Subscribe to the channel, of course, and also hit that little bell so you're notified of live streams and new videos. And subscribe. But more importantly, what do you think? How would you describe the horror that this man is going through? Comment as you see fit.